Bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Did you see us? Were you part of the 5 million people, at least in North America, that were out protesting on the April 5th hands-off protest? There were protests around the world. We're going to talk about it and the importance of exercising our First Amendment rights. But first, this is Latina Literati. On April 5th, all over the world, there were protests to bring attention to the injustice of government policies, whether it is the curtailment of civil liberties, whether it is the disappearing of students from their housing, whether it is the detaining illegally of people just because of what they look like, and of course, climate action, of course, the continuing genocide. We are so upset. There were so many amazing signs in these protests. And one of my favorites was so much wrong, so little cardboard. So there's so much to protest. And everyone was out there. There were a wonderful group called Grannies Against Genocide. There were federal workers who have been mistreated by the government. There were obviously people very worried about half of our public lands being opened to exploitation and ruin. There were, of course, many people, as all of us should be, that were just crushed by the idea that these unmarked cars, unmarked people, masked, can just come and take you in the middle of the night with no warrant, no due process, no anything. There's no responsibility by anyone. That is just not acceptable. And so 5 million people at least came out just in North America. There were demonstrations around the world. There were demonstrations in London, there were demonstrations in South America, there were demonstrations in Asia. So really it was a moment when the world came together, and it was a day of reckoning. It was a day of social consciousness, social awareness raising, but also a day of collective action when people came together and said, basta ya, enough is enough. You cannot tread on our rights, on our liberties, on the law. Either we live in a nation of laws or we live in a lawless nation. We need to respect the rules that we have all said we are going to abide by when we live in a society. And right now, the government is basically behaving in an illegal manner. You cannot simply govern by executive order, by regal signature. It doesn't work in this particular system. And so people showed such creativity, such imagination. There were so many wonderful signs, and I wanted to share some of my favorites, of course, that were just beautiful, not only in their message, but also in their presentation. There's so much to share in this wonderful day of action when millions and millions around the world rose up and came together to say, basta ya, enough is enough. In New York, Times Square was completely surrounded, and basically an act of civil disobedience. Beautiful. We love that. All nonviolent expression is absolutely encouraged. In Paris, the entire city government was shut down and surrounded, and the leaders actually came out to speak to the protesters. In Cape Town, in South Africa, there was also civil disobedience around the city, demanding not just climate justice, but also social justice. And so there's so many actions and so many people. And of course, you're not seeing this in the major news networks. Why? Because the same people that are breaking the laws, that are infringing upon our rights, are the owners of the major media outlets. And so it's independent media outlets where you're going to find the real news, the real numbers, and the amazing energy of the day. So beautiful. It was a perfect day, wonderful demonstration, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of song, a lot of dance, and a lot of love, because in the end, love will always trump hate. No play on words there. But when people come together and they are united in their love of protecting each other, of wanting a better society, of envisioning a place where we are all able to reach our full potential, where our children aren't afraid, where our children aren't being scapegoated, aren't being mistreated, where there's access to education, where there's access to healthcare, where there's access to basic, decent respect and dignity. Everybody wants that, and that's what we need to work for. And there were elderly in the group that had signs that kept saying, "I can't believe that I'm still protesting for this stuff." And really amazing, because there were a lot of people in wheelchairs and walkers and canes, and there were just a lot of different people who were out there understanding that the expression of this frustration, the expression of absolutely not accepting what the current government is doing, is just key. Why? Because it gives those who want to stand up, it gives them courage, and it gives them backing. And we're starting to see cracks in that monolith of how can I put this, right-wing fascists that are willing to do anything to bend a knee, to kiss the ring. And we are starting to see cracks, and that's really important, because the only way we bring down a fascist regime is by not giving up the pressure and not giving up our full commitment to ensuring that we live in a better society. So the April 5th hands-off Global Day of Action is not just a one-time thing. It is a defining moment when the people around the world understood and understand the power and the ability to say, basta ya, enough is enough. And this is just the beginning. Everywhere you will see signs and invitations to upcoming protests. And of course, the biggest one is going to be on May 1st, but there are actions everywhere, and you can check your local feeds for information on that. But this is a time to stand together, and it's a time to say, we will not allow you to mistreat our neighbors. We will not allow you to commit genocide in our name. We will not allow you to use our resources to do evil around the world. And that really is at the crux of it. Yes, environmental actions and civil liberties and different abilities to express ourselves are all important, but at the core is really our right to live in respect and dignity. And that's really what this was about. It is completely unfair to come in and just undo everything that generations of others have been doing, whether it's no longer ensuring that we drink clean water or have clean air, or that children have the most basic health insurance, or that the elderly, the most successful program ever in North America to ensure that the elderly are lifted out of poverty, just coming in and think that you're going to cut that. No, you're not going to cut that. Nobody's going to let you come anywhere near these programs that are central to who we should be, which is we should be a society that cares for others. We are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. We are here to ensure that we are all doing well, and that we have the ability to resources that will allow us to reach our full potential. And that is good for our community, it's good for our society, it's good for the nation, it's good for the world. When people come together and ensure that things are done properly, that they're done right, everybody wins. Everybody gets an education, everybody feels like they're being backed, and they feel like they're being supported, and so that's really what this is all about. So I invite you, if you haven't joined, it's going to continue. And in lieu of book recommendations in this video, I actually am going to list in the description box 50 books to inspire you on this activist journey, because we are here to do that. We are here to care for each other, and we're here to inspire each other, and we are here to ensure that things change for the better now. The April 5th hands-off protests were the catalyst. They were what brought us all together. Again, just 5 million just in North America, millions more around the world, hundreds of thousands in every major city. And it is just the beginning. We are here to ensure that we care for each other, that we take care of each other, and that we make things better for each other. So this movement, this catalyst of heart and mind, is meant to inspire others, is meant to inspire us to go forth and bring about the change that we know society needs, that we know our communities need. And so let's support each other. Let's look for our local businesses, our local services. Let's focus on the local. And that's how we ensure our resources stay in the people and friends and neighbors around us. So focus on the local. Look for a better way to do things. You know, none of these huge box stores need a cent. But you know what? Our local small mom and pop stores do. And so let's support them, because we are here to make things better. And small business is at the center, is the backbone of the economy, of most economies. So as always, thank you so much for this joint journey. We love having you along, and let us know, what would you like us to talk about? Because we do take recommendations from our community. And as always, we will be there, and we'll bring you some interesting footage in upcoming actions as well. As always, con mucho cariño, mucho salud, mucho amor. Gracias.